Good morning, good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, mi gente. Yo. Welcome to Daily Discipline number 282. My name is Rob Hoback. Happy that you're here. Honored and humbled that you keep coming back, like for reals. So it's a thirsty Thursday. Shit, I'm thirsty already. And it's a work day, and it's time to get to work. So let's do this. Hold, please. All right, first things first, I'm still the realist, will always be. I'm also happy. Yeah, sometimes just wake up in a better mood than others. I think for me, yeah, we'll get to that in a minute, why I'm happy, right? But it's a decision, right? So I just decided, like, I'm just going to be more happy. Like when things come into my mind that usually would stress me out, I'm like, yeah. All right. My thankies. Holy cow. In case you hadn't noticed, we're in the midst of football preseason. Yeah, Sam's been conditioning all week. He's going to have a conditioning session tonight. The NFL's back full. I mean, people are reporting back to training camp. It's on, right? Like, it's going to take a few weeks for us to catch up because it's still pretty warm out. Football season will hit before you know it. So just, can I get a what? Happy, right? Love football season. And my question of the day is this. Why is that so important to you? What's the that? Well, you have to fill that out. But I'm talking about things that we do. We talked a little bit about this earlier this week, like, things that I'm like, why do I do that? Like, why is that so important to me? 60 minutes, and another one came to me this week, as I have like a mild obsession with my yard. And there are a couple of things. Number one, and so anyway, let's go back to 60 minutes for a minute. To me, 60 minutes, that was a sign of success. It's an attribute because people that I looked at, a couple, a family, Marge and Steve, they had their shit together, and it's just part of their routine. And so there's a part of me, while I don't think about, or at least I don't consciously think about them, there's something about that entire experience that is soothing to me, that makes me feel good, right? Like I think you understand. So, but my lawn. So let's talk about my lawn. I was talking about this last night to the QE1. Number one, when I grew up on 1911 Cloud Street, right, Bloomington, Illinois. And mind you, this was I believe it was a 3-bedroom, 1-bath ranch, no garage, and a gravel driveway when we lived there, or when those were my earliest memories. I think we made that into a concrete driveway. I don't know. Anyway, it's just a long time ago. But here's my point, is that this is how far back that stuff goes. We've talked about how the first 7 years we become who we think we're supposed to be, right? Like we assimilate all of this information. We're like, okay, so this is what they want from me. This is what I'm going to give them. And so go back to 1911 Cloud Street, directly across the street from us. Mr. Miller lived there. Mr. Miller was retired. Mr. Miller lived in a red brick ranch home and had an amazing yard. And I remember as a kid watching him just work tirelessly in that yard. As a kid, we'd go over and ask him questions, and he told us we could play in his yard, but he wanted us to take our shoes off to get in his yard, right? And that's because, we'd go over there in our baseball uniforms. We wanted to play in his yard. Broke a couple of windows at his house, had to work those off, But to me, Mr. Miller's yard, and I saw my mom and dad just talk about how beautiful his yard was, and everybody in the neighborhood talked about how beautiful it was. And you could tell that he took a lot of pride in it. And I remember him saying, he's like, look, I'm retired. I really don't have anything else to do other than to tend to my house. And, I like working in the yard. And then Nuke, same way. Like, there are people that I've seen that have done. The third one was I went through a very, very difficult time in my life where I lived in a rental home. This is not even 10 years ago. And the next door neighbors, very nice people. They were the wife was the one that taught me that when the new neighbors move in, you should take them some cookies or something. I found that. So, that's part of my game now. The other thing is I met Rocky. And Rocky was like, bro, why do you think I'm outside all the time? Right? And he proceeded to tell me, he's like, look, things may be difficult inside. That's why I'm always outside working on the yard. And he's like, this is how I have a successful relationship with, my wife. And anyway, it's just interesting. So I've fallen in love with, being out in the yard and the satisfaction that comes with it. And as I think about it, I'm like, yeah, there are several stops along the way that I was like, there's success there. That is a successful attribute. The other part of that, there's two other things, is that, I often, a couple times a year, I'll hire somebody to come help me. And I was thinking about that yesterday. I think that goes back to, again, 1911 Cloud Street. If you went down a couple doors, there were some nice houses, some big houses. And one of the families there would hire us as young kids, come take the garbage out, just do stuff around their house. And they constantly, Mama Stroink was constantly asking us to go pull weeds, do this, do that. And I hated it. And sometimes I just leave, right? Like if she'd be like, hey, go do that. I'm like, no, I'm good, right? And so, and then the last one is I was thinking about this last night, dragging my sprinkler around to make sure that my yard was well watered, was the actual sprinkler that I have. And as I stopped and thought about that, I'm like, why do I love that thing? Because it's the exact same sprinkler that the Dirty King of the South had back in the day. Yeah, when I would go visit to him. And he was pretty proud of his yard too. So a lot going on there. Just a lot going on there. And here's my point is when we find ourselves doing things and we feel a need, we feel compelled to like, why do I enjoy that so much? I mean, you could just do it and not question, or, you can be a little introspective like me and be like, why is that? Why do I want to do that? Right. And then if it's healthy, do it again. If it's not, like, I don't think we need to do that. With that, we are done. Hands up, peace out. We're better together. Appreciate you guys stopping by. I'll be back here tomorrow. Hope you do too. Later.